All right, this is a big treat for me. We've got David Webb, Sirius XM Patriot host, 125. By the way, when I got my car, my brand new one, because you know why? I can afford it. I demanded that I have a Sirius XM Patriot. He, of course, you see him on Hannity, Fox News. Listen, man, we got the same agent, man, and you won't return my phone calls. I've been hunting you down today. Listen, for some reason why, you remind me of Lois Lerner, and I was a subpoena.
First of all, I'm much better looking than Lois
I know.
Lerner. And I'm more honest, and you would actually get an honest answer out of me, even if I don't know what it is.
What's missing in talk radio these days? I mean, you and I have been in this business a long time. What's missing?
Real discussion. For a while, we went through that period where it became more diatribe. The American people are sick of being preached at, no matter whether, even when they agree with you. So they want to talk with you. They want to, have a conversation. When you get somebody on the show, they want to hear what they have to say, but then they want to ask them questions. So that's one of the things we have to do, and that's how I do my show. Get people involved. The listeners matter. Why do you want to sit there and hear me preach?
You're one of the big speakers here at the Sunshine Summit here in Orlando. The ladies love you. I see them following you around. I'm like, man, is Hugh Hefner here? What's going on here? Again, David Webb, we're talking here on the Ed Dean Radio Show. What is it that the Republicans need to hear about and absorb that they're not doing?
They need to hear that they're full of crap unless they start actually doing something. So let me tell you one of the examples I used on the stage. They all love the veterans. Every presidential candidate loves the veterans. But how many of them have actually banded together, gone down, sat on the Capitol steps, gone to the Veterans Affairs Commission, gone in as a group because they have huge platforms, they have big access, and they demand that we start fixing things. And I contrast that with the example of what we did with the Patriot Express, which just launched on Veterans Day, that a retired general and a talk show host could cook up an idea on the phone one night, work with companies, work with the VA, work with the city of Chicago, of all places, and launch a service that gets veterans to their appointments for free and gets them home. Something that simple that makes it easier for a guy in a wheelchair or a woman in a wheelchair, walking with a cane, or maybe someone who has a little trouble being in public, whatever. Getting them there. What candidate, to everyone listening, has actually gone out and put together a program or worked with another candidate to get something new? They tell you what they're going to do and they're going to be president, right? Start the work now and go finish the job or continue when you're president if you're elected. That's what the Republicans need to do on other issues. We've started the work. Let me be fair. We've done some good work on some things. Some of the states have done great. The reddening of legislatures is a big proof of that. Look, Obama did us a favor. He pissed off so many people that we've turned over 1,000 seats red across the country. That's going to take time to become congressmen and senators and governors and bigger influencers. But we've got to do stuff in the meantime because we're not going to attract new voters if we don't do it.
We're talking with David Webb, host on Sirius XM Patriot 125. I'm sure the other radio stations that carry the show probably don't like it. I just said that. But anyways, you see him fill in for Hannity, and he's on Fox News all the time. I love you on the panel debates because you really make everything so simplistic here. I'm not as big as you. We're syndicated throughout Florida and a few other states. But having said that,
that little state known as Florida.
Okay. Yeah. There's a lot of money. We'll talk about that. But anyways,
media markets,
when I write articles for Sunshine State News or the radio show, you'll get the Trump people, the Bush people. What people sit back and go, David, come on, bro, what's going on here? Out of all the candidates, if you name drop, that sit here and go, David, come on, man, they complain that you're not doing enough for or against.
My job's not to do it for or
I
against.
understand that.
My job with all these candidates, and you and I talked before we got to this point, and other people ask me the question, who's the guy? First of all, nobody knows. If anybody tells you they know who's going to win this thing, they're lying to you. These candidates are all running or this early in the race. It's recognition, it's energy. Yeah, there's true support, but we have the base involved, and we're still missing 10 to 20% of the base really being involved. We don't have a vote till next year. So right now, nobody knows. That's the answer. And I won't give my listeners or your listeners any false answers.
Well, I know that. I wasn't trying to lead you on. I'm not part of the
no, I'm
press.
saying you are, but I'm saying your question is valid. But the real answer is nobody knows. Go out and work for your candidate. Demand they tell you how they're going to do the job. Ask them what they're going to do to get it through, how they're going to work with Congress. Do they know the job they're in for on any level, immigration, border security, the economy, foreign policy. Start asking them substantive questions.
You and I one thing I like about the show is that we try to cover free market economics. It's about the issues. It's not about Democrat versus Republican out there. There's not enough being discussed about turning the economy around through free market ideas with
supply side economics. You know, I'm a member of the Committee to Unleash Prosperity. It's Art Laffer, Larry Kudlow, Steve Moore, Steve Forbes, and there's a group of us, and I was honored to be asked to join this because, like you, I push these messages, but it's more than the messages. We're explaining to people why it works, why free market economics works. Yeah, of course there's failure. It's part of the equation. Of course there are bad people. We have regulation to deal with that. You know, we have to focus on the bigger picture. Wage suppression from illegal immigration.
That's right.
There's something candidates need to talk about. Illegal immigration, too much of a supply of labor, is wage suppression for the very poor people they claim they want to help.
Let me ask you this. I subscribe to the theory that, again, the administration's own numbers from the Labor Department, Commerce, even the feds come back and say, we still need 4 to 5 million jobs to get to full-time employment, whatever that means. And here's the point. It's not that we don't have people not looking for the jobs are not there, so why would I want to invite or give amnesty to 5 more million illegal aliens? If their jobs are not there, they got to live off to something, which means they ain't got a job, they're going to live off federal, state, or local government assistance.
Off the people that are working. So here's what we're doing. We're importing poverty. Okay, we are importing poverty. I don't care to bring into this equation, which is often the first one, the compassion argument, because the greater lack of compassion is to bring someone in from any country, any refugee status, or allow illegals to stay and become a second class of existence within the United States. The underboard economy, where they're not above board, they're not paying taxes, they're not working lawfully, whatever that is. So that is a big problem. And what's going on right now with wage suppression is nobody's tackling those issues. Let me sum it up in 3 categories for me. All right, Ed, here's 3 categories.
I'm writing them down. Here we go.
First category is the rich. Okay, the rich will suffer. We need their venture capital. We need their investment. They build companies, but they'll survive. They will survive. They will lose money, lose capital, but they'll survive. Then we've got the poor. The poor are taken care of in America. Doesn't mean that it's good to be poor, but the poor have access to programs. They have access to charity. There are people that are just, that we have to help that are really hard off, but they have a way to at least get some help. In order for America to thrive and move forward, the middle class matters, but not the way the politicians tell you. Politicians don't get economics 101. Very few of them do. The middle class have lost income. They've lost wages. They're stagnant. They're working more and earning less, whatever the case may be. But they don't have the ability to replenish. So if you don't have the jobs, what they've lost, they won't replenish. Therefore, they'll never grow forward, and that pushes them more towards the side of dependency or possibly falling into the poverty class.
I got a minute and a half left. Give me an issue you would like to see addressed, whether it's the Dems or the Reps.
Right now, the number one issue, there's actually 1 and 2. It's 1, the economy, because we need an economy to support a strong military and strong law enforcement structure, because the common challenges, the question for everyone is, who do you want sitting across the table from Putin? Who do you want sitting across the table from other world leaders, friends, enemies, or opponents, or somewhere in between? And if you don't have that issue on the table of dealing with the world, then we are not going to get anywhere, because if you're not alive and if your security is not guaranteed, how can you go work safely? Think of all the things it does when security is not a part of the picture in a nation.
That's right. Bernie Sanders is the initials BS is perfect for the Democratic Party. Yeah. David Webb, every time he sees Michael Eric Dyson's picture, he punches him.
I do metaphorically. I punched him on camera a few times metaphorically.
Listen, it was a pleasure to have you here on the Ed Dean Radio Show, and I'm glad you took the time again, man. I thought it was like, my word, I'm not a bad groupie. I just, if I don't get it, the women are going to be sending me the bad emails. All right, Sunshine Summit, the great David Webb. You can see him all over SiriusXM, 9 to 11 Eastern Time.
9 to midnight.
9 to midnight, excuse me. Till 11 for those in Central Time. Good to have you here on the Ed Dean Radio Show.
Good to see
David
you.
Webb, more on the other side. I'm not done with you. Stay tuned. This is the Ed Dean Radio Show.